Avoiding errors in sampling. Dear students, we have been discussing techniques related to sampling and then the features of good samples. We discussed them. There are some errors expected from our samples, and these errors are really to be avoided in conducting good research works. So in this session, we are going to discuss some of the errors which are expected from this sampling procedures, and then we would also discuss some tips and some tactics through which we can avoid these errors maximally, right? So sample is not always representative, and it's a big error which is then influencing the validity of a research study, right? And why sample is not always representative? Because there are some errors which may take place if you are not carefully designing your research study, or if you are not really randomizing, or you are not fulfilling those procedures which are required for a good research design. If you are not attentive to those some of the basic issues, then your validity of the study may be questioned, right? So there are two types of errors basically. One is the type of errors which are related to the randomization of your sample, okay? And then we also have some errors which are related to systematic errors. Systematic errors are errors which are not really related to random sampling, but they are the part of your constant studies, and therefore they are also considered errors. And then we also have some relevant errors like sampling errors and errors of measurement. That's another classification of errors. So we will discuss all these four types of errors. Random and constant, right? Random in terms of randomizing sampling, or the sampling which is to be random, and then constant just in connection to the systematic errors which are the part of your sampling. And then we also have errors which are related to sampling and then measurement, like the instrument which was used and then the calculations which are the part of the measurement, okay? So in order to avoid these errors, we must be coming up with a solid research design. That's a basic requirement from good researchers, that they would go for solid sampling design so that there is a very little or zero sampling error chance, okay? And then another technique which is used for minimizing sampling error is basically the collection of larger data, right? So the more the better is the rule. The more number of sample is increased, then the chance of error is minimized. So we will also explore some of these possibilities. And then another possibility is like when you are maintaining multiple contacts with your sample, right? So you are not actually collecting data once, but you are maintaining a contact so that you are actually making sure that the samples which are collected are accurate, and they are the best representation of the population. So let me just give you some of the understanding of these errors. In this table, column this center column shows random errors, okay, like A and B, and A and B are basically the errors which are related to sampling, right? So error A is the type of errors which are related to random errors, and error B are systematic errors. And then we also have two more errors, C and D, which are related to measurement, right? So the error A is basically related to the random sampling, but the random sampling may be high, right? So it may be high or low or average, right? And therefore the sample may not be accurate, right? The samples which are collected may be highly interacted, right? And then we have systematic errors. Systematic errors are basically errors which are related to the biasness of the samples, because we are dealing with human beings in some of the social sciences researches, right? And these social sciences researchers are basically may be containing some of the bias, and this biasness may be leaning to one direction of the population, right? to one direction of the population value, right? So this bias may be contaminating our sample, right? Since these two are related to samples. So one, when the sample is not really representative and we are not actually having the sort of samples which are not really accurate, right? So that's the type A errors, because at times when we are taking data, we may not be really having those samples which were selected, and some of the samples might be deviating from the true characteristics of the population. So this deviation is leading towards type A errors, right? And then we have this type B errors. Type B errors are basically related to bias, any sort of bias. It could be like geographical bias or professional bias or maybe individual biases, right? So when you are generalizing the data which you collected from this systematic error based samples, then the generalizability would not be valid, right, in this case, because it is then too biased to generalize. So that is sample B and error B, basically. That's the systematic error. We also have measurement errors. Measurement errors are basically the systematic fluctuation which is may be fluctuating in either direction. It may be going up or it may be going down, but it's the fluctuation, and this fluctuation is the part of measurement. It's not related to sampling, it's just related to measurement, because the instrument may not be able to take exact and same measurement, right? Since we need to have, through our instrument, we need to have exactly the same measurement, exactly the same way, using exactly the same way, and then exactly the same number. But when we are not exactly collecting the same number, the same way, and the same measurement, then we may be having this measurement error related to randomization, right? Like for example, if you want to measure an area or ring and you collect your measurement 3 times, like thrice, then you're committing actually an error which is related to measurement. If you are collecting once like 17.46, one calculation, second time you are measuring it, and next time your calculation is 17.42, and maybe for the third time when you take measurement, then it is 17.44. So you took 3 measurements and all 3 times your measurement is different, right? So that is a measurement error. And then type D errors are basically the errors which are making your data contaminated because of the reproducible inaccuracies. And the problem is actually in your experiment, and it is being repeated, right? So when it is being repeated, you actually, the measurement, the basic measurement was not accurate. Now it is reproducible because every time your data is used, it is analyzed, then it is interpreted. So at every step, that error is reproduced. For example, you want to collect data from students in order to test their intelligence, right? But you give some extra time to your students. For example, you give them 3 minutes extra. Now what happened would be that your data would not be really the representative of the population, because your actually the systematic error which take place related to measurement was not accurate, and it was flawed. So when this flawed sample is added, then the data is not really representative, and the samples are not really representing the population. So these are the errors, and we must be planning our sampling with such a careful attitude that the samples are giving us true data and true picture. What we can do in order to avoid these errors is that we would be carefully designing our solid sampling techniques. We would be using solid sampling techniques, and then we would be adding up to our samples. We would be having larger samples in order to maximize the validity, and then we would also be maintaining multiple contacts with our samples so that we have the exact data and it is then measured exactly. So these are the ways to avoid errors in sampling.